Some 50 years ago, Bob Galvin began his career at a small company that made radios under the brand name Motorola. 50 years later, electronics had completely transformed the world. Television, computers, magnetic recording, satellite communication, lasers, fiber optics, cellular telephones, and data communications. The companies that competed with Motorola 50 years ago are gone. Atwater Kent, Majestic, Philco, and scores of others. But Motorola renewed itself, and today is a high-technology global giant at the forefront of communications and electronics. The man who made it happen, the man who nurtured the spirit of growth and renewal, is Bob Galvin. This renewal is built on two key beliefs that are the foundation of his management philosophy: constant respect for people and uncompromising integrity. The beliefs were instilled by his father, Paul V. Galvin, the founder of Motorola. Bob Galvin was born in Marshfield, Wisconsin, where his father had started a battery company. When that business failed, the family moved to Chicago. In 1928, the Galvin Manufacturing Company, with 5 employees, was founded to produce a device called a battery eliminator. After the stock market crash of 1929, the business had almost gone under. But Paul Galvin heard about some attempts to put radios in automobiles. His team developed the first commercially successful car radio, and the company was on its way. Galvin called the product Motorola, a name that suggested sound and motion. Paul Galvin said of those early struggles, "Do not fear mistakes. Wisdom is often born of such mistakes. Acquire the confidence to overcome failure. Reach out." Bob Galvin has kept alive that entrepreneurial spirit of risk-taking, even though the company today employs 105,000 people and annual sales approach $11 billion. Bob grew up in Chicago and Evanston and began his Motorola career in 1940 when he addressed a national sales convention banquet. By then, the company had entered the home radio market and was developing two-way police radio. That technology quickly evolved into the portable handy-talkies and walkie-talkies of World War II. During Bob's early career in the 1940s, after he attended Notre Dame University, the Galvin Manufacturing Company sold stock to the public and later changed its name to Motorola Incorporated. With 5,000 employees, it retained the respect for the individual. There were no time clocks, but there was a pioneering profit-sharing plan. The post-war renewal produced the television business and a laboratory in the Arizona desert to explore the potential of solid-state electronics. While competitors stuck to vacuum tubes, Motorola research helped build a pioneering semiconductor business and transistorized military devices. Paul Galvin died in 1959. When Bob assumed the senior leadership position in the company, sales were $290 million, almost all within the United States. Today, sales are 37 times as large, and 44% are outside the United States. Under Bob's leadership in the 1960s, Motorola expanded into Mexico, Europe, Asia, and Israel. By the end of the decade, the first words from the moon were relayed to the Earth on a Motorola transponder. These were prosperous years, but Bob Galvin, who knew the value of renewal, anticipated change well before there was any external pressure to do so. He committed to move the company out of consumer electronics and concentrate on high-technology commercial and industrial communications and electronics. In 1974, Motorola sold its television business and later phased out car radios. Building on its growing semiconductor business, the company in the late 70s unveiled tiny microprocessors that would revolutionize the way the world does business. They became the core of automotive electronics. They helped create the personal computer. And today, they are embedded in everything from credit cards to factory automation systems. The continuous renewal inspired by Bob Galvin has today made Motorola the world leader in two-way communications, paging, and cellular telephones. Its semiconductor portfolio is the broadest in the world, and it is a growing force in data communications, computing, and control devices. Bob Galvin's relentless energy has moved him well beyond the corporate boundaries. A past president of the Electronic Industries Association, he has led efforts to promote fair trade and build solid relationships between the U.S. electronics industry and national governments. Under his leadership, Motorola was one of the first companies to penetrate the Japanese telecommunications market. He is chairman of Semitech, an industry government research consortium. In the early 1980s, he recognized that the renewal process must include a total commitment to quality. He turned the focus of the company to the customer and devoted his full energy to attaining quality goals that appeared impossible. Those goals were achieved later in the decade, only to be replaced by a renewed commitment to Six Sigma, or virtually perfect quality. This leadership helped make Motorola a winner of the first Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award in 1988. Today, he is chairman of the Board of Overseers of that award. Throughout his career, Bob Galvin has actively promoted the cause of business and economic education. His forceful advocacy of free enterprise was recognized when he was appointed chairman of the President's Advisory Council on Private Sector Initiatives. He knows that renewal means that a company must develop effective and far-sighted managers and technologists. He pioneered training and education for all employees at all levels and all functions. Motorola today invests more than $70 million a year in training. Bob Galvin is a man with an intense devotion to family and an unswerving belief in the golden rule. Throughout the complete transformation of Motorola during the last 50 years, uncompromising integrity has remained a constant, not subject to change. He is vigorous both at work and at play. An avid skier, tennis player, and windsurfer, he climbs the stairs from Motorola's underground garage to his 12th floor office. Bob continues as a full-time officer of Motorola, but in a supporting role. In January 1990, his title changed from chairman of the board to chairman of the executive committee, and he has been devoting a greater portion of his energy to national and global issues. We live in a world far different than the one in which Bob Galvin began his career 50 years ago. As for the next 50 years, he knows only that it will be full of surprises, and the people who anticipate change will be the leaders. Those who build on the moral values and courageous vision of Bob Galvin will enjoy those surprises.